Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hi, everyone. This is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Sage. And I want to tell you her whole name so that you can actually look her up. It's Sage Taylor Kingsley-Goddard, and she is the Prosperous Goddess. Woohoo! From being bankrupt and nearly homeless to building a $1 million business as a healer, transformation catalyst, and spiritual coach and teacher. And she was recently voted the #1 law of attraction expert in the world. So what's important about that whole thing is the Prosperous Goddess. Think about it. How many healers do you know who can say that they have $1 million businesses and that they've been voted #1 law of attraction expert? Not very many people. That's just one thing about Sage that I'm excited about. She's been helping people for about 25 years. And what she does is she helps people to awaken their souls so that they can clear their inner blocks around receiving. That's an important point, around receiving. Mm-hmm. Help them build their intuitive skills, enhance their self-love and life balance, and to help them expand their vision and align their energy so that they can joyfully prosper and thrive while they do what they do, or while they be in the now, as I like to say. Yeah. And so she really helps people to define, align, and shine. So let's welcome the Prosperous Goddess, Sage. Welcome.
Woo! Thank you, Tammy, for that awesome intro. I'm so excited about being here with you because you get this. I mean, you totally get it. And you, like me, you've been through your own stuff. You've been on the path for a while. And you know how important it is to really make these things real, not just talk about them and think about them. And someday I'm going to do that, but really live these principles on a daily basis. That's why your show is Daily Success, you know?
Yes.
So, wonderful.
What's so interesting about it, you know, when people book these conversations with me, I just put the link out and I say, hey, go choose your time and your appointment. And I never know, you know, who's showing up until I do the research. But it's really interesting how my interviews always bring me the people I need to talk to on the day I need to talk to them. And so it's interesting that you showed up today because I'm in the process of really seeing clearly. And I've been kind of a little foggy since about July. And I actually had a conversation with someone and they said, well, there's been a lot of shift in energies, you know, in July and August, and now we're coming into clarity. And I think that's so interesting because, of course, 2020 is coming up.
Right.
And things are getting clear. So when I was reading through your bio, looking to see, well, what would I like to find out? Something jumped out at me, and I think that it's really important for the audience as they're listening, because I always feel like I represent the audience. So What I want to talk about is the 5 spiritual laws of success and why law of attraction isn't enough. And here's my favorite part. How do you become a kick-ass manifester? I love that.
There was a big kick. Woo! Those kicking the cosmic
views is that. But I think being a manifester is so important, and I'm a big implementer. So I just want to tell you a little bit about my name and what I found out about myself. I'm Sharon Wyeth, who tells people what their names mean. So Tamara is my birth name, you know, my mother gave me. And then Tammy is my nickname my mother gave me, Tami. And so Sharon told me, she says, well, Tamara is a wannabe manifester.
Because it's going to happen tomorrow.
Tammy.
It's going to happen tomorrow.
So I'm going, okay, call me Tammy.
Yeah.
Because that means I'm a manifester. So tell me more about these 5 laws and just more about manifesting. Since you are the #1 expert on the law of attraction, I figure you know a little something.
Yeah, and it's such a huge journey. And by the way, I totally get that about your name, because the way that you were pronouncing it, and that, your mom pronounced it and people pronounce it of Tamara, it sounds almost like tomorrow, like you're saying tomorrow quickly, which would mean that it's always out there. It's kind of like the signs that a bar will have free beer tomorrow, right? It's like, oh yeah, well then you come back tomorrow, it still says free beer tomorrow, right? So
yeah, and it's funny that you say that.
You're not quite there, Yeah.
Funny you say that, because today I was on a tech support call with the GoDaddy 2 different times for different issues, and they both called me tomorrow.
You see, now Tammy is a powerful name, and it's short and punchy. And then the other thing is, if you like the Tamara, you could play with, just an idea, but you could play with pronouncing it a little differently, like Tamara or something like that, where it didn't sound like tomorrow. But anyway, whatever you like to be called. I'm a woman of many names too, which is why my legal name is Taylor Kingsley. My husband's name is Goddard, so I go by Taylor Kingsley Goddard. But my spiritual name, my pen name, my stage name, my business name, and my social name is Sage. So, names have power, and sometimes you resonate at a different stage in your life more with a certain energy, because words are a form of energy. They're like energy bundles. So let's talk about the 5 spiritual laws of success and manifestation. And thank you for the opportunity to share this. So people talk about law of attraction. Obviously, I know a couple things about law of attraction, who've gone from bankrupt and essentially homeless with 2 small children multiple times in 1 year to having $1 million business, living in my dream home, which I love, all these beautiful skylights and fireplace and gazebo and hot tub, and just wonderful place to live. And I kiss the walls when nobody's looking, because people who didn't always have a good place to live appreciate a wonderful place to live that much more. And I'm married 21 years. In fact, next week is our 21-year anniversary to my divine right mate, body, mind, heart, and spirit soulmate. Not just soulmate, but mate on all levels. So manifestation is crucial. But law of attraction is not enough, because that's just one piece of the pie. So some of you guys might want to grab a pen, because you're going to want to take some notes, possibly. And then I share a lot of these resources at my website, Prosperous Goddess. So there's a lot of free goodies. I believe in giving a lot of free resources and just a lot of inspiration, education, and transformation. So the first law is not actually the law of attraction. The first law is what I call the law of allowing. The law of allowing. And we have to be open, like you said when you were introducing me. Thank you for that. Receiving. Being ready, willing, and able to really receive the blessings that you want. Receive the things you're asking the universe for. Receive the things that you're saying that you want, and maybe you're taking action on, you're working toward. But if you aren't subconsciously and energetically all open truly to receive this, if there's some part of you that feels like you don't deserve it, or there's some part of you that's just not connecting with it in some way, even though consciously you say you want it, then your subconscious and your conscious are having this battle. Consciously, you're trying to make it happen and you want it, but subconsciously running some other program. I'll give you an example. Before I was a prosperous goddess, when I was struggling, I felt that I wanted to be more abundant, right? But I also was running a belief that rich people are jerks ruining the planet. As a kind of socially progressive environmentalist, pacifist, I want peace and harmony and heaven on earth, I would look at the stuff that a lot of these wealthy people and corporations are doing and blame them for the problem. So if I believed subconsciously that rich people are bad in some basic manner, then how would I ever want to become wealthy? How would I ever want to become prosperous? Because I don't want to become a jerk. I don't want to be like an asshole, right? So I was in battle with myself, right? So I had to shift my beliefs, and what I call it is your BS. Your BS is your beliefs to shift. So you have to really identify these subconscious beliefs. And Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, you might be familiar with his amazing work with biology of belief and epigenetics and how we can change our genetics and our outcome for our lives, not only with health, but with other aspects of our lives too. But one thing he said, I was on a call with him at one point, and he said, if you want to know what your subconscious limiting beliefs are, look at your life, because your life is actually like a blueprint. It's like a feedback system showing you what your beliefs are. So, for example, if you don't want to have to work so hard, you're like, how many people, entrepreneurs, or even people with jobs, or mothers, or caregivers, feel like you're working too hard, right? Everyone in your audience just raised their hand, practically. Like, right? So if consciously you don't have to work so hard, but subconsciously you believe you have to work hard to be successful. If that's a belief, like the American work ethic, we work hard and that therefore we succeed. Your whole program is about success. If you're running these kind of beliefs, right? Even if it's just under the surface there, consciously you want the good stuff, but subconsciously there's something blocking. You have to shift that. The other issue a lot of people have with receiving, and this is all still the very first law, which is the law of allowing. We haven't even gotten to attraction yet. One of the issues a lot of people have is they're a giveaholic, right? I actually bought the domain website. I haven't done anything with it, but I thought Giveaholics Anonymous. Right? How many people are giveaholics, especially, I think, women, especially healers and caregivers, and especially business owners? If you're checking off some of those boxes, it's like, oh yeah, there's always someone else who needs us. There's always someone else we could be doing something for. And if we feel guilty about putting ourselves first, if we feel guilty about the self-love and the self-care, we don't take enough care of ourselves, and that we kind of burn out. We keep putting ourselves on the back burner, and then we burn out. And we might be taking action. We might be doing law of attraction, all this other stuff. But if we're not allowing ourselves to be supported, allowing ourselves to feel pleasure, allowing ourselves to receive love, receive touch, receive money, right? And most of the women, and some amazing awakening men too, that I get to work with, we are going to that receiving level first. We have to go there first. So therefore, the other steps will succeed. So they're not going to be getting in their own way anymore. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense, because if you think about how you're taught about, like, for example, how to do entrepreneurial business and marketing, they always say over deliver, give more value, add. And it becomes like, oh, I have to keep giving in order to get, the basic thing. But the truth is that a lot of times take some of that stuff away and people are like, oh, that's all I want is this.
Exactly. Sometimes you can overwhelm people with giving them too much stuff. That's so true. One of my programs, I think, had too much stuff in it, and simplifying it and taking a little bit out and streamlining and also adding some more videos to spiff it up and make it more fun and lively actually made it better and easier, than having like so much stuff to do. Right. So yeah, simplifying, receiving more. Here's a magic phrase for everybody. Write this down, you guys. In a balanced and healthy way. In a balanced and healthy way. And this is like a magical phrase to add to your other stuff that you're manifesting. So if you're manifesting like, I am creating a 6-figure business, add to that in a balanced and healthy way, right? Or whatever you're saying. I am promoted to CEO, in a balanced and healthy way. If it's not in a balanced and healthy way, you guys, it ain't worth doing. It's not worth the price that you pay of your happiness, your health, your sanity. You've got to have that flow. You've got to be able to receive. So that's first law. First law is law of allowing, right? And I'm going to talk fast. I'm from New York originally. I'm a California girl now, but I'm from New York, so I can talk fast. So the second law is super, super, super important too. And it's the law of aligning. And allowing and aligning kind of go with each other. And what we mean by that is in the law of aligning, you need to be very clear. So you need clarity about what exactly you desire, what exactly you deserve. It's I call it hocus pocus focus. So it's using your imagination, your intellect, and your intuition so that you can be more clear about what your next steps really are. Because a lot of times people race forward. They want the fast forward button. Everybody wants the fast forward button, right? In life. But if we aren't aligned, enough of us, you don't have to be 100% aligned. You don't have to be 100% healed. Thank goodness, right? That's a relief. Nobody is 100% healed, probably of anything, practically ever. But if you're 90% healed, if you're 85% or 95% aligned, then it's going to flow. It's going to work. You're going to feel that success, So at this stage, one tool that I recommend is gratitude. And it's gratitude. We all know that. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone who's here. You're hearing this anytime, though. You guys could be hearing this any day. So every day is Thanksgiving, right? But gratitude not only for what is, but also for what was, what helped you get to who you are today. And gratitude for what's on the way. So I have some really unusual ways of teaching things like vision boarding, for example. And I won't get into the whole thing here because that would take more time than we have. But what you need to learn how to do is be so aligned vibrationally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and also your environment and the choices that you make. They're in alignment with the life you want to be living. So a question to ask yourself is this choice in alignment? Is it in alignment with who I really am? Is it in alignment with the life I really want to be living? And if you feel that sniggly little doubt, then stop. Use your no muscle instead of your yes muscle, right? It's very easy to say yes to too many things. So healthy boundaries, alignment. What a lot of people need help with, Tammy, is healing at that energetic level, at that soul level. That's really where I'm kind of more of an expert and where my magical superpowers come in. Because people might be doing gratitude. They might be doing visualization. They might be praying. They might be journaling. They might be taking the steps that they feel are appropriate. But if there's something going on, for example, I work a lot with the chakras. You're probably familiar with the chakras. Yeah. So if they have, for example, a first chakra leak, let me just give that one example. A lot of people, like 40% of people I can read auras. I have incredibly, I'm so grateful. I believe everyone has these abilities, by the way. I'm just blessed to know it and to use them successfully for 25 years. A lot of people have first chakra leaks. If you have a first chakra leak, let me give you a tip. So you don't even have to pay me for an aura reading. You'll know immediately in 5 seconds if you have an aura, if you have a first chakra leak. If you have a first chakra leak, you can manifest money, but then it seems to go right back out again. So people with a first chakra leak, they're like, oh, I can, look, I have an extra $2,000 this month. Wow, how exciting. But then some shit, excuse my language, some crappy thing will happen. Whether it's like the dentist or the car or whatever, release. But something will happen and then boom, the money is gone. And they're like, what? Right? Or their income has increased consistently. They were making $50,000 a year. Now they're making $85,000, but they don't feel more prosperous. They don't feel more prosperous because they're not aligned with feeling prosperous. They're not aligned with saving and building their abundance. So there's a lot of things that can get in the way, whether it's chakras, whether it's beliefs, whether it's about the self-love, and it's the first law, right? So really having that vibrational alignment, that your beliefs, your energy, your thoughts, your actions, they're all in alignment with the life you want to be living. It makes a huge difference.
I know it does, because everything you're describing, like when you talk about the leak, it's like that has happened to me before. And then there've been other times when the money came and I was able to keep it. So,
Right. So you might have like a partial leak where it's not as bad as it used to be, or it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still not quite what you want to be experiencing, which is expanding energy. When you expand your ability to manifest money, it's not just about money. Money is like an amplifier of energy. There's a quote for everybody. Money is an amplifier of energy by Sage. Because whatever your values are, if you suddenly had $10 million more, you could do a lot more with whatever it is you want to do with that, right? And if you're a kind, loving person like you are, you would do great things with that $10 million, right? And like most of your listeners, or all of your listeners here, right? What would you do with that $10 million? You would help animals. You would help the environment. You would help your uncle. You would help your brother. You would, and yeah, maybe you would also make house improvements and have a trip that you've been wanting for a long time. There's nothing wrong with that too, right? But you wouldn't use it to harm others in any way or to disempower. You would use it to kind of spread love around and, use it in ways to be kind and generous. So the more money you have, the more generous you can actually be. So there's a lot that goes on with that alignment. Sometimes there are past life issues, I believe. Sometimes there are ancestral issues. A lot of people are still carrying the burdens from their parents or their grandparents or even farther back. And that's something I love helping people do very quickly, often in a session or 2 or 3. We just get to the root causes of what has been blocking you, and we clear that out, and we get you really aligned really quickly and powerfully with where you want to be and the life you want to be living and who you really are. So that alignment, as well as the allowing, makes such a difference. So now we're ready for the next law. We're ready for the law of attraction, which is now you're clear about what you want. Enough of you is aligned with and open to really receiving it, right? So you're no longer in your own way. Now you're open. You're like, yes, this is what I want. Okay, thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for bringing this to me. Yeah. And then now you can focus on your law of attraction practices, like visualizing, vision boards, vision statements, certain types of journaling can be used for that, ritual, right? I even use music, like when, this is a fun example, when we were manifesting this home that we've lived at now for 6 years. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Still love it. I'm in love with this place. I never loved a place so much. It's not just that it's not like a mansion. It's just like perfect for us. When you're in the right place, you can feel that. Or if you're not, you can feel that.
Is perfect for me.
Yeah, that's so great.
I invested 7 acres, 2 minutes to the grocery store each way, living in the country, but living in town.
But close to things. That's so perfect. We have something similar because we're only a mile from this really sweet, historic gold rush town that's really going through a renaissance. But we have a view, and we have an organic garden, and we have an orchard, and it feels like country, but it's kind of close to things, So yeah, for me, that was also a sweet spot too. But exactly, everyone has a different kind of what's perfect for them. But one fun thing with the music, as a law of attraction thing, a lot of people don't think about, the music you listen to a lot, or the chants, if you're chanting, it's a way of getting it into your body more, because rhythm, and you're feeling it in your body. So one chant that I did for manifesting, and it helped because it helped me align, right? It helped me feel it. It helped me be in the vibrational gratitude frequency and feeling that it was already here. As I would, on my daily walks, I would walk with my friend who lived around the corner, and we would go out and walk almost every day, walk the neighborhood. This was at my previous house, right? And then my chant went like this. You guys want to hear the chant? Yeah. Speaking for everybody. Okay. So I'm like this. And you guys can use this. Please use it. Let's help everybody manifest their dream home. Thank you for my perfect 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 home. Thank you for our 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 perfect home. And it just would go and go. And I would walk with this friend of mine, and she was like, Sage, you're so fun. You're like manifesting, but you're singing and like dancing through life. And, you're making it so fun. And sure enough, we manifested our home. We manifested, the right pieces, all the pieces of the puzzle. So law of attraction, but you got to do your allowing and your aligning, and then your attraction will be much more effective and fast and fun. And then now we come to another important law, which is the law of action, right? Now we can align and we can heal and we can meditate, we can pray, we can visualize, we can do our gratitude. But if that's all we do and we don't actually walk the talk and put the pedal to the metal and take the action, then it's not going to work very well. We can't just sit in our house and sing Kumbaya, all day long, right? Like, ah, it's so wonderful, and look at the Buddha, right? The Buddha had enlightenment under the tree, but it wasn't enough to just sit there and be enlightened. He had to go down to the people, and he had to bring this to the people, right? So you have to take action, and it helps if your action is inspired and intuitive. And I think one place where a lot of people get off track is they either don't get enough support for like the healing that they need, or they don't get enough support for the accountability steps for the action. That's why we have a coaching industry, right? And I do all that. I do the intuitive readings. I also do the healing, that deep soul healing, the energy healing, the beliefs, the reprogramming, the hypnotherapy and shamanic healing, all kinds of stuff. And then I help people move forward with the action. When you're choosing a coach or a mastermind or a community, it's very important to choose the right one, right? Or the right ones, I would say, because probably you work with someone for a while and then you graduate, and then maybe you're by yourself for a little while and you're like, hey, okay, I'm implementing, I'm cool, everything's great. And then you go, oh, I need some support with this piece of it now. And then you manifest the right, like you said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, the teacher is ready, the student appears, So trust what you feel. Like if you feel energy when you're hearing this person speak, whether it's Tammy or me or whoever it is, and you're like, oh, I really resonate with not only what they're saying, but how they're saying it and how they're living it, And I really recommend that you work with people who are themselves successful in that area of life that you want support with. I wouldn't work with someone to help me quit smoking who is still smoking 2 packs a day. I wouldn't work with someone who, if I wanted to manifest my dream mate, with, someone who is bitter about marriage. Like if I want to get married, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, this whole marriage thing, it's so disempowering and, men are all assholes or whatever, or you're like, So, pay attention to how they live their life, where they're coming from. I personally believe you want to work with people who are coming from an energy of love, and who really see you, and they're not just imposing their vision on you. Like, oh, this is how I got successful, so this is what you should do. They have some tips and they have tools for you. They have accountability. They have strategies for you. But they're going to support you in a way that's empowering you to be who you really are, not to just be like a cookie cutter version of them, And this happens all the time. I see this happen all the time with coaches, with spiritual teachers, even with website designers. People give their power away, and then they're like, wait, this doesn't feel like me. Your success should feel completely like you. It's your version and your vision of your best life. And the right coach, the right healer, the right teacher, the right mentor is going to help you get to being who you really came here to be more quickly, more easily, and more successfully. But they're not going to try to turn you into them. So stop giving your power away. Don't give your power away.
Well, that is a really good point about you have to and I see it all the time where people they'll say to me, oh, I have to go ask my mentor if this is okay. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's fine, but you have to make the decision.
Exactly.
How do you feel about this decision? What is your inner guidance system saying to you,
exactly.
About this? And you said it, don't give your power away, because what do we have besides us and our personal divine connection? If we're, no matter if we're an entrepreneur or a spiritual person or even not a spiritual person, all we have is us. And when we say, oh, I have to ask someone else about this to get a validation, that isn't the answer. Can you repeat the 5 spiritual laws of success again?
Sure. Law of allowing, law of aligning, law of attraction, law of action, and now we're coming to the 5th one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was 4 so far.
Well, I was so enthralled with receive. If you think about it,
they're all so important.
Trust and allow, don't ask how. But to receive that I think is so important.
It's essential.
Because that was where I was a couple of years ago. I was like you just said, I was a giveaholic,
mm-hmm.
and I was, give. And then would wonder, I'm going, well, okay, I planted all these seeds. I've watered them.
When do I get to receive? When do I get to enjoy it? Yeah.
And there was a moment in time when I literally yelled at God and said, okay, what's up here? And then I did some self-education, and that was one of the big lessons. So I think the reason I asked for a repeat because if you're taking notes, you definitely
it's good to have a recap.
Put a bunch of stars next to that first one about receiving, and really ask yourself, hey, am I stuck in not allowing others to give to me and to be open enough to receive? Because
Absolutely.
It's almost like that's the lock, the key in the lock.
It's the key, and it's the foundation. It's
having gratitude. You can be grateful, but if you never accept anything in, what's the point? So
exactly.
Anyway,
you're absolutely right. One of the things too, just chakra and energy wise, for those of you who want to get esoteric and woo-hoo, it's the woo-hoo, that's what I say, is your palm chakras. Sometimes the blocks are in your palm chakras, and then people are always like giving, doing, giving, but you have to have them open for receiving also in a balanced way. I mean, it's not like you're only receiving, but we can give more from an overflowing place, right? My mom is 88 years old, and she's going to be 89 this month, in fact, Tammy. And she is legally blind. She has macular degeneration. And we moved her out here to be here closer to family and to have family. And so it's a great issue about boundaries and self-care to make sure that as I've added that role in as a caregiver to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, because sometimes I have to say to her, Mom, I've been here for 3 hours. I need to go home now. She lives 3 miles away. She's doing really well, but she wants more. She's kind of needy because she doesn't know too many people here yet. And I'll go socialize. You have a lodge. The lodge is right. She's right across the street from the lodge with all these activities. Go socialize. But anyway, it's boundaries, so that, because if we overgive, we feel exhausted, we feel resentful, and then we're not able to give from our hearts. Then we feel like something closes off, and we're like, it just doesn't feel right. But when we can set healthy boundaries, so that we can come back to being of service, and that's so true, especially for people who are coaches, who are healers, doctors, intuitives, whatever, teachers. I was a classroom teacher, was one of my careers before I stepped fully into my purpose as a spiritual teacher and healer and coach. So yes, we could talk about that one forever. My first book actually is called Radiant Radical Self-Love. It's an online course now, Radiant Radical Self-Love. So I had to learn to live it too, right? We have to live it first, I had to totally implement that. Like I spend 2 hours every day on self-care, 2 hours every morning, self-care.
That's good.
And that's why I can run a successful business like this, because I put that self-care. So let's get to the fifth law.
Okay.
Fifth law is, you probably never heard of it before. I never heard anybody else talk about it, to my knowledge. It's called the law of co-creative expansion. Ooh, the law of co-creative expansion. What does that mean? So what that means is, now that you've attracted it, right? You've got yourself open to receive with your allowing, you're aligned, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're enough aligned that your action actually is moving you forward, consistently, and you have steady steps, and then you have these big, wonderful expansion portals that you go through. So now you've attracted your whatever it is, insert the blank here. You've attracted your, what do you want to attract, Tammy? What's like a goal for you? That's like a big thing you want to attract in the next year. Just throw it at me.
I want to get my house remodeled. I guess that's a big thing, a real important thing that I'm working on. And correct. I'm also working on scaling my business with a big idea I had maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And finally go, I figured it out how to do it.
Can I give you a high five on that one?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you bring that forth into the world. That's great. So let's say it's a year from now, or 6 months from now, or 2 years from now, or however long it takes you to manifest that. So now that you've manifested this, now what? Well, now, first of all, you need to allow yourself to enjoy it. Yeah. You need to actually let yourself enjoy it and rest on your laurels every now and then and go, whoa, look at my house is fixed up exactly the way I want to. And I've got this leveraged program out there, which is making a difference in people's lives. And it's really unique. And I get so much great feedback from the people that it's helping. And it feels so good. And I just love this. So you're let yourself allow it. You let yourself give thanks for it. Send love to your past self. Send love to your future self. Send love to God and your universe and your angels and your guides, all of that. And then you're going to want to reevaluate, right? So then you reassess. Okay, now what do I want to manifest, right? What's next now? But do it in such a way that you let yourself also enjoy it. And then co-creative expansion, so that you're like a positive spiral continuing to open. Co-creative means two things: co-creating with other people, right? And co-creating with God, with Source, right? So it's like, now at this stage, one of the most satisfying things is paying it forward. It's like, you've reached this level of success. And now you're going to have people saying to you, wow, Tammy, how did you go from where you were to living this amazing life? Yeah. And, you're going to want to help others, like the Buddha coming down from under the tree. You're going to want to share that with others, whether it's something that you get paid for, if it's part of your business, or it's something that you give talks in your community, or you get free ebooks or videos out there, or whatever it is, so whether it's free or all the way up your funnel to, getting paid well for it, whatever. But you're going to want to pay it forward by helping others, because you are now farther along on this path compared to where you were and compared to where a lot of people still are. And it feels so satisfying in our heart and soul when we help others. We're not just giving them a hand up, but we're helping them empower themselves, right? We're just making their path that much easier by sharing what we've learned along the way. So their path can be easier, like we would do for our children. We want to make their lives easier than our lives were, So co-creative expansion, it's about nurturing what you have, giving thanks for it, enjoying it, seeing how can you collaborate and co-create with others in this play area somehow, right? and helping others, continuing to make difference. So I always picture this like golden spiral, you know? So now you're here on this spiral, so you can enjoy all this wonderful energy that you've built and that you're still tapping into. And you can see, like, where does it want to go next? You know, this force of creation that's moving through us, you know, what's next? Yeah. But also enjoy this moment. So that's the law of co-creative expansion. So there you have it, everybody. You've got the 5 spiritual laws of success and manifestation, and why law of attraction isn't enough. It's an important piece. But you see now how there's other pieces that feed into the whole picture of how to manifest. And you can use this. Let me tell you, we talked about abundance and success a lot, but you can use these principles, assuming you get the healing you need, assuming you get the support you need, and you take the action steps that you need to take, right? You can use this for anything. I've used this for improving health. And my clients, thousands of people all over the world, you know, my clients and students, for health, for home, for having more creativity, more meaningful friendships and connections and community, and for prosperity and purpose, and, you know, really fulfilling your mission on planet Earth in a way that's prosperous and joyous and fun. You can enjoy this incredible ride. So that's my message to all of you. And I'm so grateful that I could share this. And I'd love to hear what stands out for you, Tammy, now that you know all 5.
Well, I think number 1, again, for whatever reason, law of attraction is the one that's gotten all of the
hype and visibility. Yeah.
But it's like you said, here's the missing pieces. So, you know, if you had law of attraction and you're doing all of the vision boards and the journaling and all that work, and you don't have any of the other pieces, then again, you may have some success, but your success would be so limited. And with the steps that you gave with the 5 laws, now it really makes it very clear about, oh, okay, so what's going on with me with my allowing and receiving, what's going on me in this area, what's going on me with my action, because so many people this happened to me. We were having a flood coming. And so my son and I were out putting sand in sandbags, and I had a renter. And so I said to her, could you please help me fill sandbags to put around the foundation of the house you're living in? She goes, oh, no, I've got to go to the church to pray.
Oh, we're just going to pray that the flood doesn't.
And that was such a big lesson for me, because like I said, while I was filling bags, I was praying. You know, I was saying,
you can pray while your hands are moving, honey. Right? Exactly. You can pray while you're doing something.
But I was taking action, knowing that if I took those steps, it would at least help a little bit.
Right.
And then, you know, I was, you know, acting and doing and you know, praying as I worked. But that is how some people think.
The irony of that, it just gets me. And God helps those that help themselves.
Right. And I just thought that was but so many people, it's just
they
like.
They really are stuck in those beliefs. Yeah.
They think that, well, if I visualize it.
If I just visualize and meditate enough, or I just pray enough.
Or if I sing my song enough.
Yeah.
You, while you were singing your song, I bet you in the background, you were doing all kinds of.
I was doing all the action steps, and I was continuously asking, like, what is my next action step?
You had money
intuitively,
and that you were looking for the idea, you know, and you were looking around, and you were
taking the actions, right?
Doing all of the action steps, and then and again, and I still tell my property that I love it because I almost lost it, and. It was, you know, I was fighting with the bank for 5 years, and I kept telling the house and the property, I said, look, I don't want to move. I'd say, I want to stay here. but I have to do what the bank tells me to do, like put it up for sale, because I was trying to get them to help me, and they made me jump through all these hoops. And one of them was to put the property up for sale. And I tell in the house, hey, don't take that personally, you know.
Right. I still want to stay here. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, one day I get a phone call, and it was the bank saying, oh, we're going to help you. We're going to forgive this huge hunk of the loan, and we're going to finance it and help you keep your house.
Exactly.
I went to, I don't know how many times I ended up at the courthouse, and every time, and it was true, but I would tell the judge, I said, I think I have a fraudulent loan. And the judge would move it forward, so thank goodness I didn't ever give up, because many people at that time, they just abandoned their houses.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I have to stay, because, I had worked so hard to get this property, because, it's a unique piece of property in, 7 acres in Florida near the beach. It isn't like this property exists in big quantities around.
Yeah. Right.
So I just think that this is a really important topic, especially going into 2020 and going through all the shifts that are happening. And I think that people need people like you who have the talent of having the clear vision and having the ability to look at someone and say, hey, let's work on this, or to talk to someone and help them eliminate those limiting beliefs, because that's really true. I listen to people and they'll say things like, this is killing me,
Right.
And I'm like, oh, please don't say that.
Exactly.
Don't attract things by the words you say, because just like when we started our conversation about Tamara, it sounds like tomorrow. Right. And then Tammy is very Tammy, take action now. Name. And you really do hear it in the sounds. And again, even biblically, they write, that there was the word. Right. Yeah. So it is so powerful.
The word is so powerful, and energy is everything, and everything is energy.
Right.
Everything is energy, and energy is everything. So if you're not aligned energetically with something, whether it's a person, the place that you live, the thoughts that you're having, the self-talk, especially, like you said, and even foods, right? Certain types of movies, books, activities. It's not that as you evolve and live your better life more and more and spiritually awaken, it's not that you have fewer options. It's that you're more discerning. You're more selective. You don't want to waste your time and your energy, because your life this is the one life that you have as this person that you are. Even if you believe in past lives, you're only going to be Tammy this one time, and no one knows how much time we have. This is our precious opportunity to be here on this amazing planet, this beautiful place. Yes, it has problems. Yes, there's a lot of effed up stuff going on, but life is still beautiful. We can still make our lives beautiful if we look at it that way. And I love helping people with all of these laws. One thing I do with clients, like you said, is assess where exactly they're at, because sometimes we can see our own stuff to some degree, but sometimes we can't, because we're in the middle of it.
Well, yeah.
And it can help to have someone else kind of intuitively check in there and go, oh, your third chakra, you've got a problem with male energy. So, that's the issue we need to heal, is this father wound issue, or this stuff from your ex-husband, even though that was 12 years ago. There's still something going on there energetically, or, whatever. And I work a lot with mother wound, with mother and father and ancestral. There's just so many pieces to it. It's more than we can do in an hour. Maybe I'll come back on the show again another time. We can talk about some other things.
I was going to say that
lots of other things to explore.
we certainly can talk about success, manifestation. We can talk more about individual topics because,
sure.
There's so many things. So maybe I'll just invite the audience, if you would like us to talk about a certain topic, just let me know.
Yeah, great idea. Let Tammy know and I'll come on back. And absolutely.
So I would love to do that. And before I let you go, again, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you.
Oh, yes, thank you. So my main website is Prosperous Goddess, ProsperousGoddess.com, ProsperousGoddess.com. And I do have some gifts too. If you want to see the masterclass webinar on the 5 sacred secrets to living your purpose, and it's absolutely amazing. It's a very goddessy masterclass. It's be a prosperous goddess. So that's just be a prosperousgoddess.com. But if you go to prosperousgoddess.com, you can explore there about all kinds of things, all kinds of programs, services. There you can apply for a no-cost clarity session, a divine clarity session with me if you want to explore working and playing together. And then on Facebook, I'm the Prosperous Goddess is my business page. I've got a bunch of free groups, but just start over there. You can message me. I'm on Instagram, Sage, the Prosperous Goddess. So lots of ways that you can find me. And I love to hear from you guys. So feel free to message me or connect with me or fill out the form there on the website, prosperousgoddess.com, if you want to explore, chat. And it's okay. Even if we're not a fit to work together, I'll still refer you to a resource that might be useful. And I'm happy to welcome you into my tribe if you feel like connecting more and whatever feels right, whatever's aligned, for you. So please take these messages and love yourself. Let yourself receive more from your amazing universe and get the support that you need and stop giving and doing. You deserve to enjoy your life. You deserve to slow down a bit and just be here now in this beautiful world. And you're too precious to not live your life that way because there's only one you. So please, please, please love yourself enough for that. And thank you, Tammy. Tammy, you're awesome. I love your program. Your program is inspiring so many people. And you just have such a great, calm yet heartful presence, right? You just have this heartfulness that you bring. And it's wonderful being here on your program.
Well, thank you. And I took that message that you just gave everyone. I received that. So I just wanted to let you know. So everyone, what a great conversation that we've had with Sage, the Prosperous Goddess. And of course, all the links will be in the show notes, and you can tell us what you'd like to know because think about it. We're talking with the number one law of attraction person.
Soulmate love, money, just wow, there's so much.
Just ask and I'll make arrangements because I don't know about you, Sage, but I had a great time talking.
Me too. I love being here with you. We could do this all day.
The audience really felt that because, again, it's kind of like, being a fly on the wall or being someone. This is how I liken it a lot of times when you have a good conversation is, let's say you're in a restaurant and we're at some little table and all the other people are there, trying to mind their own business, but they hear us talking and they lean in and they go, oh my goodness, that's interesting.
Yeah, because there's all this wonderful energy and all this great stuff kind of flying at our table, ooh, that's hot stuff what they're talking about.
So I think that our conversation is one of those, it's attracting people because it's just fascinating. And with that, everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.